guys for coming. We have our national champion in men's 3-meter diving, Collier Dyer, and then head diving coach Kyle Bogner, and swimming and diving head diving coach Andrew Grevers. We're going to start with the opening statement from Collier, and then statements from Kyle and Coach Grevers, and then we'll take questions.
Well, it was just a privilege to be able to get to compete at NCAAs for my senior year, and it was really exciting to get to come back from a bit of a disappointing first day, and then kind of go through, learn some things, reflect emotionally, physically, spiritually, and then just to come back and have a good day on the next event was just really exciting.
Me next?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, it's been a great honor to coach Collier for the last 4 years, and obviously, when it comes together at the very end, that's pretty exciting. And you know, he worked hard and earned it, and it was just fun to be a part of it.
You know, I get the privilege of sharing that, you know, beyond proud of Collier, Coach Bogner, everything they're doing with the diving program. When I took over as head coach, you know, 6+ years ago, I was very fortunate to see the opportunity we had in investing in diving. Got even more lucky when I was able to hire Kyle. He's done incredible recruiting. Collier was someone that was good coming out of high school, but not NCAA championship quite caliber yet, right? And that speaks volumes about the relationship they've had, what Kyle's been able to do, Collier's dedication, determination, and focus. Really fun. And I think I'd just like to add, I enjoy having Collier speak to the whole team every time he's willing to. He shares knowledge and wisdom with every athlete on the program, whether they're a swimmer or a diver. So hopefully you guys get some more out of him today, because he has a lot of smart, wise, fun things to say. And then I think what's really fun and something I want to share maybe for your benefit, for all of you, whether you know this or not, Collier tore his rotator cuff at midseason at Georgia Tech. So where he ended up winning NCAAs, that's where they did their midseason championship. He did a really good job, but after that injury, we weren't sure if we were going to use his year of eligibility this year. We were trying to figure out if we needed to do a medical red shirt, focus on next year. He sat out Mizzou invite. We had Louisville, Kentucky, SIU. We went to SEC championships. Weren't even 100% sure you were going to dive, you know, before arrival at SECs. And he got there, and he got going again. We all know he did an incredible job at SECs, and built momentum from there, did awesome at zones, and then we have a national champion after NCAA. So I think it's a really fun story, knowing that we weren't even sure if he was going to go this year, to now being an NCAA champion.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
I don't have some questions.
Collier, so for you, I mean, what was the thought process? Well, you were hurt there, but you decided you didn't want to come back and compete at the end.
Well, I definitely wanted to just finish out college in the best way that I could, whether that was taking another year or doing the best that I could this year. And I felt like, you know, eventually, you know, after talking to the doctors and the surgeon, I felt like my shoulder was in a good enough position to do as well as I could with, you know, what I had to work with.
Collier, you mentioned kind of a disappointing day, the first day of NCAAs. What was the process like for you, kind of adjusting your mindset going into day 2?
Well, it was really cool, actually. It was a really neat opportunity for Kyle and I to talk a little bit, and for us to come up with, you know, just something, you know, more mentally or emotionally or spiritually that would be more beneficial for me going into the next day and just going into the rest of my career, really. And then, you know, the next morning I received a message from another coach, and that was pretty special to me. And it was just, you know, the feeling that I had when I was competing in the prelim. It wasn't a perfect meet, you know. It's rarely a perfect meet, but It was really unique, and it was really a God-given moment for sure.
Collier, I know Coach Grevers is like, oh, you did so well at SECs, but I know that you said that third was a little bit disappointing and that you were in a position to win that meet. And then, like you said, on the first day of the national championships, it wasn't your greatest. To finally get onto the top step, what does that mean?
It's really special. Yeah, just like in life, there's going to be days where it goes really well, and there's going to be days where it's disappointing. But the important thing is to just keep coming back, keep showing up, and now I'm sitting here, so it's great.
For Collier, what was it mentally that you feel like that clicked for you the morning of the finals?
Well, another coach came up with a message from 2 Corinthians 12, if you're familiar with that, and it has to do with boasting in our weakness, where in our weakness Christ is strong. And so I felt like that was something that I've been missing, and I was relying too much on kind of my own ability to do everything and handle everything, and that shift was just super impactful for me, even just the day of or the hour of that happening.
Could you take us through kind of next steps for you at this point? What's you mentioned finishing out college on the right foot. What's the next thing for you?
On Monday, we leave for the Canada Cup. I'm going there with Derek Colbert. He's also representing the USA, and then Giselle Eicherman. She's representing Germany, and Kyle's gonna be our coach there. I don't know if he'll be Jazz's coach, but he'll be Derek and I's coach. And then I'll just keep training until May, and then I'll move out to Mission Viejo, California, after I graduate.
Why California?
They have a really cool professional diving infrastructure that they're getting going over there. So I'm excited to be an early-ish part of that.
Do you think your previous experience with World Championships and big meets kind of helped you rally in the second day and pull out a win?
Yeah, I think every experience that we've had has kind of helped in those situations, because it's like anything, you don't get better at it until you do it a lot. So I think that was really helpful. Being on the world stage was really helpful with just kind of learning how to be in the moment, and then all the other experiences, all the other meets, even just the dual meets, are really helpful just to experience competing and experience dealing with all the things that you go through before a competition, during a competition.
To the coaches, what are you guys thinking as he's standing up there on finals day, after, as he said, not a great first day, what's going through y'all's mind when he's up there and competing for the title?
Yeah, it's there's a lot going on for yourself and then for them, and but really it was special for me because it was just really fun to watch him be able to dive well on 3 meter for the first time in his college career. Wouldn't matter. That's not true. But no, he'd struggled in 3 meter competitions, and we put a lot of work into it, and there tended to be something here or there that just made it not quite work out. And so for me, it was just fun to see it come together, and it was just an enjoyable experience. And then, obviously you're sitting there like nervous and hopeful, and but I felt pretty good the whole day that it was gonna go pretty well. So yeah.
My only addition is, obviously swimming side, diving side, even different schedules on the day. But and I don't necessarily know why. I think maybe you're just coming out of the locker room or so. He just happened to be around us that morning. He was by the team, and I caught him at the last second. And I ran you down real quick, and I say, "Hey, buddy, just enjoy it," because I knew it was his last day, right? Go, just enjoy it. You remember that?
I do.
I said, just enjoy, have fun. And I don't know. I love the energy he was putting out. It's hard to articulate better than he just was standing tall. His posture was good and strong. He looked happy, had a smile on his face as he was walking away. I had a good feeling. And it was really fun that it worked out even better than I could have hoped. It was really, really fun. And then at nights, the swim team, coaches were all there, as close as we're kind of allowed to be in that environment. and we were going nuts. Every single dive, we were going nuts. I remember at one point I was like starting to climb over railings of the 1 meter because I was cheering so hard. So really fun evening, fun environment, fun moment.
What is it like to coach like Collier and to coach someone that is at the highest level in NCAAs?
I mean, it's fun. But, I think that, like, it's really person to person, right? And so, I think the question is, what is it like to coach Collier? Because there's a lot of people that are NCAA champions that aren't as fun to coach or could not be as fun to coach. And so, and not saying that every day has been perfect for the last 4 years, but, I've definitely enjoyed the experience, and we've gone through a lot together, and we figured out a lot together. And I mean, obviously, one of the things about coaching great athletes is you just get better, and you have to. You have to be able to match and exceed to help them get where they want to go. And so, it definitely has made me better as a coach. And, it's, just fun really for the most part. And then some days I got to tell them to snap out of it, and so we have lots of those conversations. But, I think that really the difference between him and anybody else is really, the drive. There's a lot of that, and then obviously a little talent helps too. So, yeah.
Coach, was there a point when obviously Collier didn't start diving until a little bit later into his high school career, and as Coach Grevers says, he wasn't a stellar recruit, he was a recruit with a lot of potential. Was there a point in his collegiate career where it kind of clicked for you, like, oh, this kid could be a national champion?
I mean, yes and no. I think when the moment that sticks out in my mind is at some point, and I think that it was, I don't know where we were, but I saw him do a backflip on the ground, and it was like at my eye level, and that's really rare. Like that's crazy. Like I was looking underneath him, and so that's when it's like, oh, there's definitely something there that doesn't exist everywhere else. And then, I think it's a gradual thing, but I had coaches coming up to me his freshman year agreeing like this guy could win it all. And so it's definitely like you see it, and you know that it lives in there. And so just being able to pull it out is the trick.
I think we were playing stick-tac-toe in the dry land, which is like tic-tac-toe, but you flip, and if you stick it, then you get to put your marker down. I think that's what that was.
Probably something like that.
You guys haven't invited me to that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Come on, let's bring the cameras.
Collier, I
Was there
guess.
a moment like that for you, where it all just kind of clicked for you?
Yeah, yes and no. Also, same answer. I think, I would watch other divers that I looked up to do what they did best, and just like score lots of points and rip lots of dives, and then I would kind of try and almost mimic that. And some things I did successfully, and some things it took a little more time. And I don't know if there was ever like one particular point where I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. But I just have always believed in kind of the long game, or the long journey, and just enjoying the journey has gotten me farther than I think seeking a destination would have.
How did you first get into diving?
My freshman year of high school, I wanted to play a third sport for my high school, and it was going to be a spring sport, so it was between track and diving. And we had this one family friend who used to dive at Arizona, and she had said a long time ago, she had said like, oh, you should try diving, you should get into diving. And we didn't really think much of it at the time, until that decision came up, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll give diving a go. And then after that season, I joined a club team in Colorado, and then the beginning of my sophomore year, I went back for the football season in the fall. And then after that football season, I joined Mile High Dive Club, which was the club I stayed at until college, and that's kind of where it picked up.
It sounds like that first season you kind of took to it pretty quick. Did you enjoy it off the bat?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I liked the adrenaline. I liked figuring stuff out, even just at an elementary level, I guess. And I didn't do I wasn't a state champion or anything. I think I got 19th or 20th at state that year. But yeah, I guess I had fun. I guess I enjoyed it.
Collier, when you think back to just how you kind of pictured your collegiate career going, when you were going through the recruiting process, how close is how you imagine your collegiate career going to how it actually wound up going?
Yeah, I think, as an athlete, every athlete, dreams of being in a spot like that final, or whether it's in a conference final or, a track final. Every athlete pictures those moments, and so I definitely had thought about that before, but I mean, being there in reality was really cool.
As a coach, you were talking, you were climbing over, the 1 meter. What is it like to just know all you can do is just sit there and watch? What are those emotions like? And then when everything's done, what are those emotions like after as well?
I mean, for me, it's gotten easier over the years. I think as most coaches, you get out of college and you're like, okay, what am I going to do? I guess I'm going to go coach. And then you're used to being in control, and then you realize I have no control. And then I think that you still experience nerves, and you still experience a beating chest and all that stuff. And it's a new game, and it's sit and enjoy it, and it's filled with excitement and disappointments all at the same time. And yeah, I mean, I think you just deal with it, figuring out how to play the new game, and that your work is done all the months before, and it's it's the very small portion of the sport that you don't have control over, or you don't have any say over necessarily, and so you're working every day, and it's 6 dives that you don't really have control over, and that's okay.
I mean, my addition is, as someone that spends the vast majority of my time focused on swimming, even when Fabian won NCAAs back 16, I think, something like that. I remember, it was 100 breaststroke, 52 seconds, really 51 seconds and change. And it's really fun. You're into it, you're watching the race, but it's 1 minute of action, right? And you got the highs and lows happening really quick. That was a very, very fun moment. As Kyle alluded to, as you get older, you probably handle a little differently. When I was a younger coach then, I remember being very animated and lots of jumping and stuff. Somehow Collier got it back out of me, but the difference is with diving, right? With diving, it's almost 2 half-an-hour segments. You're watching dive after dive. It's such a different roller coaster ride. So you're so happy for him, and you don't want to cheer against the other divers, but you also see opportunities where you're like, okay, he's in the driver's seat. He's in the driver's seat. He's doing incredible things. So it's just this drawn out experience for me. So it's really fun that I'm not accustomed to. I've been around Dave Banucki when he was doing great stuff. We've had plenty of high caliber divers here at Mizzou in my 16 years. But Collier was the first one that I saw in a position to win it from that first dive in the evening. And that was fun. It got my heart rate going again. It brought me back a few years in a good way.
For the coach's first diving champion in program history, just what does it say about the program? What does it mean for the program that Collier accomplished this?
I mean, it's great, obviously. Yeah, I mean, you use this stuff obviously as a springboard, pun maybe intended, and to make the program better. But I think really it's just, I mean, for me, I just feel blessed to have been in the right places at the right time and had the right words to say over the 4 years that we worked together to figure it out at the last moment. And so it's really just it's more like that for me, just humbling and honoring, and to be the first is exciting, and I feel fortunate more than anything else, because there's been great diving coaches and great athletes at Mizzou before me, and so I consider myself lucky.
It's a unique time in our sport, and you have programs like Virginia, who is removing diving entirely. They're not supporting diving anymore. You have programs like Miami where it's men's diving only. They have no swimmers. I think it's a really fun time for any and every diver in the country to explore what their best options are and where they get that full-blown experience, where can they get the most joy out of their 4 years of college, and I think Mizzou should be one of their top priorities. We have incredible facilities, incredible coaches, incredible support, and we're into excellence in swimming and diving. So it's a really great time for us to get the good word out, let people know. If you want to be a high-level diver, we got everything you need right here in Columbia, Missouri, and same with swimming. So we want to continue getting this program back into the top 10 and eventually beyond. And Collier helped us take a big step toward that with this past week.
Collier, what's something that you're gonna take with you from your time as a collegiate athlete as you're training for World Championships and the Olympics?
I think something that we do a pretty good job of, and that we'll need to continue doing a good job of, is just separating results from the processes that we need to go through to get better. And so regardless of a result, there's always things that you can work on, there's things that can get better, there's ebbs and flows in the sport, and regardless of the byproduct that is the result, which sometimes is great, sometimes it's not so great, just committing to what you need to go through to get better is something I'll take beyond for sure.
Does anyone have any last questions?
Thank you all.